You know what's ridiculous to me? Sometimes when you read a dirt sheet report or you read a story, sometimes you're just like, really? Like, you can't believe that you just read that. Like, you just read or heard something, or even in a shoot interview, sometimes you hear or read something where you're just like, oh my god, really? How dumb is this company? And when it comes to the WWE, nothing was more dumb than when I heard that Dave Batista recently was talking about, in an interview with someone, about his return to the WWE, and he said he was all for this return to the WWE. He was ready to go, but WWE wasn't returning any of his phone calls or texts. Originally, WWE wanted Batista to be Ronda Rousey's partner, and Batista said that he would come and he would make appearances because he wanted to build up a slow build to him versus Triple H at WrestleMania 35. That sounds good to me. You have Batista, a guy who is really legit, a movie star in the making, one of your most reliable draws in the mid-2000s for the WWE, coming back to team up with Ronda Rousey. That would have been great. And then you slow build to him versus Triple H in a match. That'd be fine too, because there's a lot of good story there. 2014, Batista not getting what he was promised by Triple H. Triple H promised him all this grandeur and luxury and glory. He was going to be the world champion and everything like that, but Triple H lied to him. The Authority lied to him. He failed in Evolution. There could be some decent story there. But no, instead, WWE is just ignoring Batista, not returning any of his phone calls or texts. And Batista, the thing about Batista that is so misconstrued by the YWC and the IWC, everyone thinks Batista is some big backstage politician, that Batista is only in it for himself. When in reality, when it comes to most of these Breakfast Club members or anything like that, Batista's probably the nicest of them all. Batista was probably one of the more successful projects by the WWE. When Cena was over there on Raw getting booed out of the freaking building from 06 to 08, Batista, who was booked very similar to Cena, would never get hated as much as John Cena. He was never really that hated. No one really booed Batista out of the building. A lot of people generally liked Dave Batista. You know, Batista, it wasn't his fault that every time they tried to separate him from the world title scene, either A, his opponents would get injured, aka Mark Henry or Mr. Kennedy, B, Edge or Undertaker as world champions at the time would always find a way to get injured. So WWE was like, crud, we have to put Batista back in the world title scene, because let's be real here. Who's going to buy Great American Bash 2007 to see Kane versus Khali for the world title, or Rey Mysterio versus Khali for the world title? You have to put Batista in there. You can't have Batista not be in the world title scene when you have junk like that. Batista was one of the WWE's most established stars. Not one of the biggest draws ever for the company. We're not going to go out of their way. But when it comes to successful stars and very solid draws, oh, Batista's up there, man. He's definitely top 15, and that's good stuff. Batista is a reliable hand. Batista is a guy that you can trust in. And yet, it blows my mind that WWE just decided, nah, we're good. We don't want this. What? Why? Why wouldn't you want Batista to come back to this company? I get it that the last time you brought him back, it didn't work out well. Newsflash, people. Batista didn't really want the treatment that the WWE was planning for him. Batista said, hey, they're not going to want me coming back as a babyface. You should turn me heel. And they're like, no, we'll love it. And then WWE had to ruin it by spoiling Batista's return. I guarantee you, if Batista came back as a surprise in the Rumble, he would not have been as hated as bad. If we just had inklings that there was a rumor of Batista coming back, that would have been much better than what they did of Batista coming back randomly in a small town. I can't even remember what town Batista came back in, awkwardly interrupting a Randy Orton and Triple H awkward ass segment where he comes out and he pretty much just says what he normally does in his promos: congratulations, I want my rematch. Like, instead of Batista coming out saying, I want that world title. No, we're not even getting good Batista. We're not even getting Batista coming out saying, Randy, while you sit there and kissing babies and hugging fat girls, I'm going to train to kick your ass. We're getting freaking 05, 07 Batista. Congratulations, I want my rematch. Like, no. Us fans didn't want that Batista back. We wanted Batista heel, wearing the leather jacket. I just got my tattoo redone to make it look all dark and stuff. Wearing my sunglasses indoor. Spotlight on me, Batista. That's the Batista we wanted. We didn't want no congratulations. I want my rematch, Batista. Basketballs don't hold grudges. We didn't want that. But no, that's what WWE thought we wanted. In a way, I'm kind of glad that Batista's not coming back, because WWE would have found a way to piss me off with him just like they did in 2014. Heck, they ruined a squandered opportunity with Batista because they had to give the fans Daniel Bryan, but hey, what if you made Batista into the ultimate heel? Oh my god, if you gave Batista both title belts? Oh my god. Think about the draw and everything like that of Dave Batista, and then you could have had a Batista versus Brock Lesnar match? Heck, we always try to figure out who could beat Brock Lesnar for that stupid Universal title. Ding dong, Batista could probably beat him for that Universal title. It's just ridiculous how WWE doesn't return any of Batista's phone calls, especially because Batista right now in Hollywood, granted, yes, he's no Rock. Granted, yes, he's not like Cena where he's a charismatic character. But man, dude, Batista has improved as an actor. And if you all saw Avengers Infinity Wars, and by the way, this is not a spoiler, this is just facts right here. Batista was one of the funniest parts of the Infinity War. I'm not going to say any of his lines, but he was a star in that movie. I don't care what anyone says. If you saw that movie, you would say, yep, Batista was hilarious. Because my movie theater, when I saw Infinity War, anytime Drax said anything, they thought it was hilarious. They were laughing at a majority of Drax's lines. Batista has been one of the main stars for the Guardians of the Galaxy. They focus around him a lot in the subplot of the second Guardians movie with him and Mantis. So, and that's not a spoiler if you saw the Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 2. That movie's been out for like a year now, so don't get mad at me at that. I'm not going to say anything that happened in Infinity War, but I'm just saying, Batista was one of the better end parts of that movie. Heck, I'm just going to say this. He talked more than Captain America. Batista literally talked more. Drax the Destroyer talked more than Chris Evans' Captain America. And the Russo brothers have done more Captain America movies than they've done Guardians of the Galaxy movies. So that shows to you how much the Russo brothers loved writing for Drax the Destroyer. They're like, oh man, we get this character, and they nailed it with him. And not only nailed it with him in the script department, Batista, who's improved much as an actor, nailed it as well. He was absolutely hilarious in that movie. And I just don't understand. WWE knows, oh, Batista's coming out in the Avengers Infinity War. And granted, yes, Batista's not the biggest star in this movie. But you would think that even if he's not the biggest star in the movie, the fact that he's still in the movie, the fact that his name is still on the poster with all these other names, with guys like Chris Pratt, Chris Evans, Chris Hemsworth, all the Chris's, I named them, Robert Downey Jr., you get the idea. I'm naming all these guys. Vin Diesel's in this movie. Bradley Cooper. They have all these freaking stars. And you don't think, oh, maybe we should have Batista. No. And then the messed up part is you send Renee Young and Dolph Ziggler to interview these Avenger people. And they ask them, oh, how was Batista in the movie? And they say, oh, Batista kicked ass. It's like, if you're going to have it where you're going to make a big deal that Batista's in this movie, why don't you bring Batista back to the company? Like, that makes no sense to me. Like, you're just saying, oh, yeah, look at that. One of our former guys is in this movie. You knew this. So bring him back. I mean, Drax the Destroyer is just pretty much Batista. His character, Drax, could be a legit professional wrestler. Like, for real. Why wouldn't you think to bring Batista back? It would have been a win-win situation for you. You get to tout that you have one of the Infinity War stars. You get to have Batista come back and do some decent business for you. And it's not like Batista's done with the movies. He still has a couple other projects coming out. I think he has like the Escape Plan 2 with Sylvester Stallone and 50 Cent. Batista's in the movie with Sylvester Stallone and 50 Cent. I don't know if that doesn't get you excited. I don't know what's wrong with you. This is like a 2005 dream movie for Chase Oliver, okay? It just makes no sense how WWE could screw over a guy like Batista, who really, to be honest, yes, has Batista said nice things about the company? Not really, but it's not like Batista's wrong about what he's saying. It's not like he's CM Punk, who goes on and bitches and moans on a podcast about how bitter he is without the company used him. No, Batista said, from my knowledge of all these shoot interviews Batista's ever done about the WWE, he just says, yeah, they just didn't know how to use me. Like, they I just don't get some of their ideas. They were moving on to PG. That's not me. I couldn't fit with that company. I came back. They made all these promises, but, you know, I was fine with it. Yeah, maybe Batista wanted to do certain things, but god dang it, Batista's a legend. You let Batista do what he wants. At least Batista puts in effort, unlike freaking Brock Lesnar. Batista was working house show circuits. Like, he remembers, like, I remember, like, listening to the Talk Is Jericho interview with Batista. Cesaro was all surprised. He's like, wait, you're actually doing the house shows? And Batista's like, yeah, this is the best part. Batista loves the wrestling business. He doesn't shit on the wrestling business. He says the wrestling business is good. He just mostly says that WWE just doesn't do the smart stuff. And we can't blame Batista. Batista's right on that. So, really, to be honest, I just find it ridiculous that the WWE wouldn't return phone calls of one of their bigger stars and Dave Batista, especially in today's current environment when you need someone like a Batista. I mean, for real, Batista could help out so much. There's so many guys that could just benefit working with Batista. I just don't get it. I really don't. What do you guys think about this whole Batista WWE nonsense? Are you guys like me mad about it? Or are you guys just like, it's just Batista? I want to know all your guys' thoughts and opinions. Leave them down below. Thank you guys very much for watching this video. If you guys like what you saw, subscribe, hit the like button, and do that bell notification. Remember, guys, and I thought I was going to be done saying this catchphrase, but he's still our champion. Until he loses the belt, I cannot stop saying this catchphrase. Sometimes, guys, you got to be like our Universal Champion Brock Lesnar and don't give a shit about life. And ooh, pop your fucking collars and say, yo, Balor Club for everyone.